morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 273rd episode. In the last 272 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 school leaders on this very platform where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovation, and what all new are they doing in the education space. So before we start today's session, just some ground rules for everyone. Think of the Blub World Web Talks like a speaking sprint, like a 100-meter race. It's not a speaking marathon. So the speaking time is limited to 3 minutes. And once your speaking time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. When you see my hand up in the air or Blub World's hand up in the air, that means we are requesting you to conclude. And you have the final 30 seconds to conclude. So whenever you see that, you can, take it as a prompt and start towards the conclusion of your speech. Secondly, this is a bilingual platform. Normally, we prefer English and Hindi, these two languages. But since this is an international batch, we would stick only to English during this complete conversation. So thank you so much, everyone, once again for joining us. I am Daksh, the founder of the Blub World magazine and the World Teen Parliament. Before we start this session, I think everyone is comfortable and ready to go. If you miss out on anything, if you get muted, don't worry. There will be an open floor at the end when you can add more to the conversation. Today, in the next 30 to 40 minutes, we'll be discussing about should schools shift to a 4-day week? Is it better? Is it worse? Will it add value? Will it make schools worse? Will it decrease student performance? Will it enhance teacher satisfaction? What all will this do if we go to a 4-day work week for a student? It's said if you give them, if you let people get bored, they'll learn faster. So if you just have school for 4 days, there might be some time for teens to get bored. So is it better? Is it worse? Is what we'll try to know from our experts today, who are school principals, who are teenagers, who bring their experience to the table to this Blub World Web Talks. Let's start this conversation and let me invite the first speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Frida Duyanti, the principal of Sampurna Academy from Sentul, Indonesia. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself again. I'm Frida, and I think I'm the only Indonesian here, but I'm so excited to share my point of view. In Indonesia, this is a new idea. So we never had this idea before if we implement for this school. So in this, my point of view, I understand the appeal of shorter school week, but implementing a 4-day schedule requires careful consideration. Allow me to share my key concerns. Number one, we have to ensure that the curriculum coverage meeting education standards. I'm talking about Indonesian school. I'm talking about my school. We are implementing Cambridge curriculum, which is international standard curriculum. And I'm worried. I'm sorry, I'm using that word. If we apply these 4-day schools to coverage both national curriculum and international curriculum with limited time, I'm not sure we can do that. That's curriculum part. Number two, I'm worried about maintaining student engagement. We have had experience with the learning loss before. We learned from last year's that given this learning loss we saw in the COVID time, we should be very careful because we don't want to raise a failing further behind. Okay, so we have to maintain the student engagement, student progress in learning and performance. Number three, we are talking about the support system. We are talking about the parents. And mostly, if we implement for this school, I'm not sure if the parents who are working will also have implemented for this working. I'm not sure. So I'm worried that those parents will have to find days, find time for the extra day that they don't go to school. So what will they do? Because at the moment, weekend is their free time, their me time, their family time. Adding one more day, that needs also more consideration. Okay, so number one is about curriculum coverage. Number two is about student engagement and learning from the learning loss. Number three is about the parents. Now I'm talking about the crucial person in the education, that is the teachers and resources. We have to ensure that our teachers are really equipped if we are implementing the 4-day school. So in my opinion, maybe we should focus on strengthening our current system inside. Let's prioritize what's best for kids and I'm concerned if we have these 4 days because of the potential impact of the 4 days school week. Okay, that is my point of view. Do I still have time?
You have the final 15 seconds.
15 seconds to conclude with, if we have that ideas to be implemented, we have to think from all aspects, from the curriculum, from parents, from teachers, and most importantly, from our students' engagement and well-being. And I hope everyone is understanding from my point of view, and it's so nice to share my ideas to in front of everyone in this room. Thank you, Mr. Gar.
Thank you so much, Ms. Frida, for that amazing start. You took all the stakeholders in consideration when you talked about the topic. The purpose of this topic is really to delve into one very simple question that school education has always had. School education has a stakeholder who comes to your door every single day, and he or she is a passive learner. Teenagers or school students are not active learners. They don't learn because they want to learn stuff. They have to be excited. You have to give them curiosity. You have to incite curiosity within them. That is why the question really comes up that if we reduce their time at school, will it add to their performance? Will it add to their learning outcomes? Or will we have learning loss? Now, this is what we are trying to figure out during this call. Before we move ahead, let me give you some insight into some of the researches and work that went on globally. The largest 4-day week study, which was done in the US, it was done by RAND Corporation, which typically found out that 4-day work week is amazing for teachers. It dropped teacher burnout by nearly 20 to 25%. Because right now in most of the countries, whichever curriculum that you come from, whichever country you come from, we have been interacting with schools from more than 70 80 countries, and we know teacher burnout is a major issue across nations. It doesn't matter you come from India, Indonesia, US, UK, Australia, it's the same thing everywhere, and that burnout translates or goes to the student. So let's see what the other speakers have to add. Thank you so much, Ms. Veda, for starting the conversation. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Haider Sheikh, who's the co-founder of Vectors Global School from Mulund, Mumbai, India. Mr. Haider, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a
Hello
very
everyone. Hello, good afternoon everyone. So basically, just like Frida ma'am, we are also running a Cambridge curriculum school over here, and this is of a different type. What we are doing over here is that we have given opportunity to the learners to choose their subject of their choice. So because Cambridge is giving you 70 plus subjects for your IGCSE and 55 subjects for your AS and A levels. So we have given this opportunity to identify the subject of your choice, and accordingly we are giving facilitators to them. So coming back to the topic, should there be a 4-day school or not? I would like to give certain points. So the very first point, what sir also suggested is that the teacher burnout. So I've been a teacher, I've been a leader, I've been a founder. So what I understand, yes, there is a teacher burnout, that is for sure. And plus, as I was a part of various different schools, so what I understand over here is that if this transition is done very suddenly, it will also affect the parents, because both the parents are working. They have to identify somebody, because if it is there in corporates, it can happen in schools. Okay, because majorly the parents are working as in corporates. The one of the solution, or one of the point what we try to do over here is that rather than having a 5 day school, okay, we have identified a day where it should go as an internship program. Okay, so that one particular day for all the children and for all the teachers around, things has to be non-academic. Okay, so it also gives you an opportunity to have a 4-day learning and 1 day of exploring. Okay, in that way, just like you said that kids are they are passive learners, like they want to explore and learn. Okay, so this is one of the thing what we are inculcating in our day-to-day teaching practices, that out of the 5 days we have given them 1 day which is completely related to their choice of because they are teenagers, they must have had a little bit of idea what career they are looking at. Okay, and depending on that, we are suggesting them, okay, you do this groundwork, you do this internship, so that it does not become too much of academic and less of exploration and more of exploration. So this is what it is about. Considering India, we already have so many holidays. Okay, so because Cambridge curriculum expects you to have 180 hours of teaching hours, okay, guided learning hours. So I am kind of very finding it difficult to incorporate these two things. But yet, this is a major concern with regards to academic and non-academic mixture of the two things. Do I have time?
Thank you so much, Mr. Hather. And I think some very important points you added. A good experiment that you're doing that, for 4 days, let's give them academics. For one day, let them work. Let them see the real world. Let them explore, experiment. So it's a good combination of things. Let's add some more data insight to it. When you go for a 4-day work week in a school, the attendance skyrockets. The students attending the school, their absence gets reduced by nearly 40%. Why does that happen? When we are dealing with passive learners and when we take away learning from them, their attendance grows, teacher satisfaction increases, but we still don't want a 4-day work week. We have to ask these questions. Let's see what the other speakers have to say. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Jaishri K, the head of academics for GT Goenka Public School, Siliguri, West Bengal, India. Mrs. Jaishri, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, sir, for inviting me for such a talk. As an head of academics, I would prefer the 4-day week. And I have my own opinions about it. First of all, we already discussed the burnout of teachers. So that 4-day week, like we are expecting our teachers to be curriculum designers. We want them to plan events. We work them to do work as administrators, counselors, everything in that 5-week packed schedule, which becomes definitely too much for a teacher to take in at this time. Also, at the same time, when we talk about curriculum, we are expecting our children to not to be passive learners. We want active learning to take place, for which needs a lot of planning on the part of the teacher. So this 4-day would definitely give the teachers one extra day or two more. Even if I take a weekend, the Friday and Saturday would definitely give them more time for such planning where things are not dependent on the quantity, but actually we're working on the quality of work which we are doing in schools. Yes, definitely for the students also, since we have not tried. But I assume that the 4-day week would definitely increase the attendance of the children. See, now we have children going out, taking a day off just to relax at home. And the parents also are supporting them because they want to spend quality time with the children. So this 4-day would work for the children and the parents too, since they will have more time at home, which we call like, see, nowadays the children have a lot of pressure on them for academics, for post-scholastic areas. So the extra day would give them a relaxed phase. And I feel the children, if they are relaxed, their productivity and their comfort zone with the curriculum will increase, definitely. As for parents, when we talk about working parents, what the schools can do is not the 4-day week is a curriculum based, everything is in place. But the 5th day can be a casual day for the children where they are coming to school, but they are not involved. The teachers are not involved. Might be the co-scholastic teachers can take it over to give the teachers, other scholastic teachers, some time for their own planning. Also, I would say, as for the school, economically, the 4-day week would be beneficial, where we are saving on a lot of energies that we waste. So I feel I would definitely go for a 4-day week. We are following the CBSE board, and CBSE talks of more of exploration, more of giving opportunities to the children apart from the classrooms. So I would go for a 4-day week. as a teacher, as an administrator also, and might be somewhere I am. This is the want of the children too. When I talk to the children, I would prefer.
Thank you so much, Jayashree ma'am. The first 3 minutes were over, but I think you made some very important points and you're very pro with the 4 day work week. I think one very important point that you made, normally students now take a day off just to spend time with their family. That's a phenomena that is happening globally, that's happening across countries. And what we have observed as well, that if you go to a 4 day work week, the parent satisfaction does increase, but it does not happen the same way when you are in a metropolitan city or when you are in a very big city. In very big city, the satisfaction goes down, but in semi-urban areas, urban areas, the satisfaction goes up. Now, this depends on the kind of family that the student is coming from or the kind of economic background they come from. And yes, the most important point that you made, that is forcing the 4 day work week to come into a school, is the economics of it. It saves money, it saves resources, it makes the school model far more slimmer and far more profitable. And with a capitalistic world that we are all in, we might see this as a reality in the near future. But yes, there are both parts of it. There's learning loss to it. There is, there's one amazing part about it which I forgot to mention, which is this is a good time, that it is actually a behavioral win if this happens in your school, because the incidence of bullying and fighting decrease by nearly 30 to 40% if it's a 4 day school week. So emotionally, it gives satisfaction and behaviorally, it enhances the lives of the students. Thank you so much, Jayashree ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Ruchika Bhasin, the principal of Punya, the experiential school from Dehradun, Uttarakhand, India. Ms. Ruchika, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for having me here. I'm Ruchika Basin and I'm heading school here in Dehradun named as Punya the Experiential School. First of all, I have to say that the thought is so radical. See, in even here in North India, we don't even have 5 days of school. It's 6 days. So jumping directly from 6 to 4 is a big shift. And I, as an educator, cannot imagine that shift, but I am up for it. Why? Because I think that it can do more benefit than harm. You have given ample of reasons yourself. It will increase the attendance, burnout will be less, and so on. But I eventually, over assessing this scenario, I think that overall everyone will benefit from it because the thought process will change. We'll be more focused, we'll be more driven. Teachers will be more delivery oriented. There'll be less waste of time overall. That is what I have to say to begin with. Children, anyhow, are overstimulated. They are overassessed at all periods of time, and expectations from all parts, parents as well as school, is on the higher end. So, to balance it out, we need to start somewhere. 5 days is beautiful. I am happy for people who are already following it, but 4 days is a dream. And in experiential school like ours, I think the real growth happens when children have the time and space to process experiences. This will give them the time and space. The question here is not will children learn enough? I think the real question is, are we as a school doing the best that we can? For me, a 4 day week is also kind of a leadership conversation because it reinforces us to think what education is and what are we actually doing. It's not just a business. It is more on the terms of delivering the right manner of system, the right manner of processes, the right kind of information to the children because we are building our future generations. It pushes us to prioritize our well-being, our relationships, which we usually take granted. So, to simplify it, I would say my belief here is simple that when children are emotionally settled, physically active, and mentally curious, they learn more and in less time. So when it comes to a 4 day week, and if implemented, I have to focus on that thought. If implemented thoughtfully, then we can honor their natural rhythm because we are far away from what we were now, and we have to go beyond. So bringing everything together, balancing it all, it requires a lot of dedication, and teachers' capacity will have to be increased. A lot of meaningful conversations will have to be put into. It is not about doing less. I think it's about doing what matters the most. That's about it.
Thank you so much, Ruchika ma'am. And yes, we are all happy if we have a 4-day work week. And I think I've educated it too much till now in the talk. So let me switch the role because I am the moderator. I have to be the devil at the end of the day. So most importantly, what Frida ma'am started with, that's something that also came out of research, that academically, if you have some superbly inclined students, it will be difficult to take them ahead in a 4-day week. So academic expertise or academic excellence gets challenged for sure. It has benefits, but this is one of the drawback that comes there because it's a very simple reason. If you want scientists, you need people who get sunk into what they're doing. And somebody who's only interested in what they're doing for 4 days, it might be a challenge and it's something that we must look into. Thank you so much, Ruchika ma'am. I just made the negative point to be the devil's advocate. So let's see what other points are there for a 4-day work week or against a 4-day work week. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Ruma Sarma, the principal of Shiksha, the Gurukul from Tinsukia, Assam, India. Ruma ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Ruma Sharma, principal of Shiksha the Gurukul, Tinsukia, Assam. I deeply appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts with all of you here. Today, as we gather here to reflect on the future of schooling system, we must confront a situation of reshaping global education discourse. Should schools shift to a 4-day a week? The conversation is not merely administrative. It includes child psychology, pedagogy, economic labor, and community well-being. To begin with, as Mr. Gore has already said, that in US over 2,000 district schools had, and also in many institutions in Europe and Japan and in the Middle East, they have already experimented and they found fabulous results, like 20 to 25% of absentees came down. That's great. Teachers' satisfaction increased by 15% because they got more time for lesson planning and personal development or professional development, we would rather say. But the question in India is quite deeper. So therefore, conversation should not be simply as to shift it to a 4-day, but to make a system around it so that it enhances the academic and the holistic development of the children takes place. Perhaps the 5th day, or rather, as one of Ruchika ma'am has said, the 6th day can be utilized for experiential learning, sports, digital learning, community service. Such a model would reduce, of course, the academic pressure while enhancing the real-world competency as required by NEP 2020. In our school, in Shiksha the Gurukul, for the kindergarten, we till Monday to Thursday, we have the classes. Of course, there also in between classes, we do give some co-curricular activities. Otherwise, it becomes very stressful for a child. And the Fridays are bagless day, non-traditional. They come in casual dresses. But from 1 to 12, Saturdays are bagless. Second Saturdays and fourth Saturdays are holiday. And that is also non-traditional, where we are introducing sports, AI, robotics, photographic club. So we are connecting it with the curriculum as far as possible, enhancing the learning skill also. We take them to different, like we have an artisan club, where we take them for pottery to the local sites also. So they are developing their skills also. But still in India, I think the 4-day school week arises important concerns when parents are working for 5 to 6 days a week. Now, how will they supervise the child during those days? That is a major concern for the Indian parent. So putting them in a daycare might enhance more of financial strain, security, whereas a school provides a better environment.
Thank you so much, Ruma ma'am. The first 3 minutes were over. We'll try to come back to you during the open floor. And yes, the economic cost for the school reduces, but the economic cost for a parent who's working, and if both the parents are working, for them the cost does increase. You're very right when you say that. So the point, what we are really trying to bring everyone to is a 4 day work week relaxing for a teacher, we know for sure. For a student, it could be, rejuvenating, because, even studies have told, for normally for a student, if they go for a 4 day school week, their sleeping time increases by 40 to 60 minutes, improving their biological health, their biological clock. It makes them better to consume and, use information that you're providing in the form when we, go through classes or whatever kind of content they're provided with. When we have these trade-offs of teachers feeling comfortable, students getting happier, are we really removing all the stress from their life? And we want them to get introduced to a stressful real life. Let's give it some thought as well. Let's now listen to a teenager on what do they think. It's all the adults thinking, sharing their thought clouds with everyone. What does a teenager think about it? Do they feel they're pressured? Do they feel stressed? Or do they feel we're happy the way the school works right now and we don't want any changes to happen? So a very warm welcome to Miss Eva Singh, who's currently an MP of the World Teen Parliament and a grade 12 student from Allen House Public School, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, India. Eva Singh, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. And greetings to one all present here. Myself, Eva Singh, MP at the 4th World Teen Parliament. So today we are here to discuss a very game-changing idea, according to me, shifting to a 4 day school week. Well, I know it sounds crazy and mind-boggling, but I have few points. I hope I can present them nicely. So the first thing, according to me, is the current system needs to be a refresh. Our current school system is stuck in the past, and it's time we shake things up. Today, students are burnt out, including myself, honestly. Teachers are overworked, and the 5 day week is a major contributor, according to me. Imagine having an extra day to recharge yourself, pursue your passions, and prioritizing mental health. So, a 4 day week could be the key to unlocking academic success. It could boost performance, increase students' engagement, and reduce the dropout rates seen in the recent years. Teachers would have time to innovate, plan, have a day off, chill, and collaborate, leading to better education. Plus, it could also reduce the costs, the carbon footprints, and the traffic congestions. So it's a triple win, honestly. But I do understand that it's logistically challenging, it impacts the working parents, and it might reduce the instructional time. But with careful planning, creative scheduling, and tech integration, because we live in a technological world, we can overcome all of these hurdles and make it work out. So, according to me, the future is very bright if we go for a 4 day school week, because it's just not about schedule change, it's about the mindset shift. It's about prioritizing quality over quantity, flexibility over rigidity, and a student's well being over outdated norms. So let's get ahead of the curve and make it happen. Some of my thoughtful implementation strategies are: number one, adjusting curriculum design to focus on essential skills. Number two, implementing flexible scheduling and online learning options. Number three, providing support for working parents and students. And last, monitoring and evaluating the impact on academic performance. So, to conclude, a 4 day week might just be the key to unlocking a more efficient, a more effective, and an empathetic educational system. Let's dare to dream big and make it happen. The future of education is in our hands. Thank you, everyone, for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Eva. And I think with the thought, after listening to Eva, one thing is for sure that by the time Eva becomes a policymaker or a decision maker, we'll have a 4 day work week because she's superbly satisfied. A teen, that's the way a teenager looks at the problem, that they're satisfied. Let's reduce the school hours to achieve efficiency, to enhance productivity. So we have listened to all the speakers for today. If you got muted, if you want to add something to the conversation, just raise your hand. I'll invite you next for a minute or so. We have the next 5 minutes for an open floor. If anyone wants to add something, you can just raise your hand. I'll invite you next. So while, in the meanwhile, anyone comes up for this, think of a scenario where you could identify if a student is a passive learner or an active learner. Because all the points that are positive towards a 4 day school week have one basic premise in mind, that the student wants to learn. In most of the classrooms that we see across the globe, the want of a student to learn has not been incited or excited yet. If the student is an active learner, the 4-day work week will be amazing, because they would want to put their energy towards what they feel, inclined towards, what they feel passionate towards. But if as individuals they're not active learners, the situation could go south, because they would not be having the right kind of guidance. They won't be put through a process. They would have too much of relaxed hours with no intent of doing something amazing in life. So the question really is not a 4-day work week or a 5-day work week or a 6-day work week. It's simply, is your learner ready? Is he or she activated to take control of their own life? Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the conversation. This was the Blub Web Talks 273rd episode. We all talked about, do we want a 4-day work week in the school or not? I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes. And it was amazing talking to all of you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us for this conversation. Thank you. Namaste. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
you,
Mr.
everyone.
God.
Thank you. Goodbye. Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.